FNAF's 10th anniversary is unfortunately finally over after a super fun celebration, but we still ended up getting a ton of news to talk about today, including a bunch of new game releases, a leak of the FNAF movie sequel script from Scott himself, 5 brand new teasers and animatronic reveals for the movie, and much more. So starting off with the newly released games, on August 7th, 5 Laps at Freddy's would finally drop to the public to a pretty mixed reception, with it being kind of buggy even for a demo. And this was honestly kind of a disappointing launch for me because I was super excited for the game when I saw the trailer, but the controls aren't great, the graphics aren't amazing, there were a large amount of bugs reported all over the place, and overall this game has a ton of work to do if it plans to be a full-blown title. But in a little bit of good news, they also launched a small beta branch which fixes some of the problems and adds a couple new features. However, on the bright side, on the same day, FNAF Into the Pit would end up releasing early in Japan. So just a few hours after 5 Laps dropped, Scott announced to avoid spoilers he would just drop Into the Pit early. And that game, on the other hand, since release has had a phenomenal reception. People have loved it so far. There has been a little bit of controversy with the release because they ended up not dropping it on consoles like they said it would until later this month, which really makes the anniversary suck for console fans in particular, as all of the games released this week aren't even available for them yet. So hopefully that gets resolved in the upcoming weeks and months, but other than that, Into the Pit has been a great success. But fast forwarding to the last day of the anniversary, Scott would give us some massive surprises. As for one, he would release 4 brand new teasers for the FNAF movie sequel, along with one from the day before, which already tell us a ton about the film, along with some other big leaks we talk about in a little. So looking at the first teaser, we could see the head of none other than Withered Bonnie, which is something that I've been wanting to see for so long. Also, most interestingly, we could see in the middle of the head there is some kind of a human head mold, suggesting that these characters aren't going to be real animatronics, but are actually going to be suits that people will wear during filming. Something they also did with certain scenes of the first movie, which I think they pulled off super well, so I think this will go well here. But moving on to the next teaser, we get to see a line of the different molds, including Withered Chica, Withered Freddy, Withered Foxy, who we've already seen in previous teasers, and also some kind of a weird mold here in the corner, which I don't recognize and can't make out, so that could be some kind of character we don't know about yet, but let me know your theories down below. Now again, these look super cool, and I also like that in the left corner you can see the real concept renders for the characters when they're being made, like Withered Freddy here and Withered Foxy, which again basically look exactly like the in-game renders, so that's a big green flag. Next, confirming our suspicions for a while, we get a look at the full head model for Mangle, who has been teased a few times now in the past, but now we have full confirmation they are going to be in the film. Next, we actually get a partial look of Toy Freddy, who actually looks super great. This model looks almost completely finished, and again matches the game almost 1-to-1. But perhaps my favorite of them all is in the last image, where we get to see an almost 100% full look at Toy Bonnie's head. Now, obviously, he isn't painted or anything yet in this image, but they clearly almost have him completely finished, and now getting to see this in full, I can't lie, I think I already like these animatronics more than the first ones. These just look insane. Now, that was originally going to be it for the anniversary, but Scott Cawthon gave us one more big surprise when he would tweet out saying, "There is one more surprise before the day is over. We will be releasing one page from the actual Five Nights at Freddy's 2 movie screenplay. Of course, it might be more interesting if it were released alongside 3 fake screenplay pages. It will be up to the fan base to figure out which page is real, which would be followed up by the 4 pages in question being revealed. One is real, the other are fake, and we have to determine which one it is." Now, going over all of them real quick, the first one on page 25 reads, "She looks up at Toy Chica confused, and Toy Chica slowly puts her hand on Abby's head. Cuts to original Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria storage room, same time. Vanessa watches the monitor through pained breaths. On the screen, Toy Chica's hand strokes Abby's head, and Toy Chica turns slowly to look back at the camera at Vanessa. Vanessa is squeezed tighter. She cries out in pain. Okay, please just don't hurt her. The grip loosens, and Vanessa watches Toy Chica look back at the computer. 4AD7X, she says. It cuts to original Freddy Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria office same time. Toy Chica relays Vanessa's code culminating in CD1, she says. Abby enters and looks back up. What now, she says. Hit enter. Abby's finger dangles above the enter key. She looks up at the animatronic for approval. Toy Chica nods and Abby presses. Toy Chica's eyes light up. You did it, Abby. We are free. Now, this one is very interesting, and while we definitely need more context to fully understand it, it seems like Vanessa somehow got manipulated and trapped by the animatronics to give some kind of code while working with Abby. This first script continues off the first film's plot well, with Abby befriending the animatronics, and I could definitely see them being much more hostile this time around since the creators have already mentioned wanting to make the film more intense and scary. The only thing that really draws me away from thinking this is the page is it's super early in the film on the 25th page, so it'd be really weird for a big conflict like this to happen so early in the film. The animatronics only turned evil in the first one during the last few scenes, and also Toy Chica actually speaking and having dialogue would be really weird. But moving on to the second script, it reads, General Everly, I never liked this project from the get-go. What the hell kind of idea was it for the US Army to get in bed with a pizza place? Captain Nelson replies, Fazbear Entertainment is more than just a pizza place, sir. Everly waving a hand, yeah, they're a circus, that's what they are. I still can't believe the government funded the company. The men and women at the table exchange glances. They're obviously a little surprised to hear their commanding officer expressing so many objections to their project. Who ever heard of testing government financed tech on robots designed to entertain kids? Shaking his head, you ask me. Drummond let his sentimentality get the best of him, just because his kid liked those robot animals. Nelson replied, Fazbear Entertainment's animatronic tech was way ahead of any robotics that General Everly snaps forward. He picks up the report and slaps it back down again. But we're not talking about robotics now, are we? Thumping at the report. This here says nothing about robotics. It's all about vortices and wave functions, and the general opens his report. He flips the pages and frowns at the one he lands on, reading observable effects of unobservable energy exchanges, lifting his gaze. Now, this one sounds a bit out there for me. I'm very confident this is at least one of the fakes. I don't know how FNAF would go from a rundown pizzeria in the first movie to working with the US military on page 18 of the sequel. This sounds super fabricated. Plus, somebody on Twitter pointed out that this is actually very similar to one of the scrapped old scripts for the first movie called the F screenplay, where Fazbear Entertainment was secretly designing robots for the government. But moving on to the third one, it reads, Mike continued, why would somebody write something like that for little kids? Abby replies, you remember how the little boy in it has all these plushies he loves, but then he gets sick with one of those diseases kids don't get much anymore? Yeah, he gets scarlet fever. Yeah, he's so sick he might die. And he's contagious, and so is everything he's touched. So they have to burn all his plushies because they're dangerous. Mike with a look of dawning understanding. Yeah, I remember the story. What are you saying, Abs? I'm saying these plushies are dangerous too. Somebody should burn them. Cutting to Mike's car at night. Mike is parked at a gas station. He takes out his phone and dials Vanessa. Vanessa says on the phone, hello. Mike says, hey, are you working tonight? No, Mike interrupts, then I'll be over in half an hour. Wear dark clothing, we've got a job to do. Mike hangs up and gets out of the car. He is dressed entirely in black. So what I can gather from this script is that Mike and Vanessa are going to get rid of those stuffed animals he talked about with Abby earlier by burning them down. And in my opinion, I actually think this is one of the more believable scripts because it gives us a little hint into what could be happening in the movie, but it's also still kept super ambiguous, not telling us too much, but also leaving us wanting more. So this is a good contender, but moving on to the last one, it reads, abandoned Freddy's Pizzeria and Theater, dining room continuous. The man and the kid step into a large dining room. Dust-shrouded tables and chairs crowd the room, encircling a motionless carousel sitting in a hulking shadow. The man leads the kids to the carousel. He steps up onto it, helping Gemma up after him. Darren looks bemused, but he hops up as well. The man reaches for the big red button and slaps the button. The carousel buzzes, lights up, starts to turn, and tinny music plays. Gemma claps her hands, eyes sparkling. She looks at the carousel's animals. The carousel's characters, a brown bear, a blue bunny, a yellow chick, a pirate fox, a gator, a wolf, and a hippo, are all brightly colored. They're cartoonish, over the top. Gemma says, a bunny. Darren, making a scoffing gesture at the blue bunny, says, this is fake. Jenna, pouting, I want the bunny. Their unnamed dad replies, we're not here for a ride, sweetie. The man takes Gemma's hand. He leads her to the center of the carousel. Darren follows. A doorway is set into the hub of the carousel. The man opens it. Beyond the door, a circular staircase descends into darkness. I'll go first. Hang onto the railing. Stay close. The man starts down the staircase. He checks to be sure his kids are following. They are. This one is another good contender for the real one because, again, it's left super ambiguous, and it's also only on the 4th page of the movie, which means it could be an intro sequence, similar to how in the first movie it started with the first security guard getting introduced to all the animatronics before dying, setting up the plot and vibe for the rest of the film, and I think this could be doing the same thing, especially since in the script they don't give the dad a name, which suggests they are a minor character, and so if I had to guess, if this was the real one, they're going to end up dying super early into the film, just like the first security guard. But speaking overall, after reading all of them, I'm really not sure which one it could be. The only thing I'm confident in is that the second one definitely seems fake, but the other 3 all seem like they could be in the real film. Now, I'm personally leaning a bit more towards the 3rd and 4th one, just because they have me personally the most intrigued, and seem like they would fit best with the vibe of the film. As for everyone else, I've seen some pollings online where people are actually favoring the first one and the last one above them all. But it seems like there's no real confident answer, so let me know which one you think it is and why in the comments below, because I'm really curious. Also, check out the last FNAF news video, and peace out, guys.